There are two Medicare supplement plans that are by far the most popular plans nationwide. They are Plan G and Plan N. So today I'm comparing these two plans and we'll find out which is the better plan, so stay tuned. If you're doing your research on Medicare supplement insurance, you've probably heard about Medicare Supplement Plan G and Plan N. These are currently the two most popular Medicare supplement plans because they generally cover the most at the best value price. Now, Plan G and Plan N are going to be similar in many ways. Just like all Medicare supplement insurance plans, these plans have no networks. So you can always choose your own doctors and hospitals. Any provider that accepts traditional Medicare is going to accept your Medicare supplement plan, no matter which insurance company it's with. You don't need referrals on Medicare Supplement Plan G or Plan N. You can choose your own doctors and hospitals. You don't need referrals to see a specialist. Additionally, Plan G and Plan N are both very comprehensive coverage plans. So even if you have a major medical event, you will have very comprehensive coverage on Plan G and Plan N. You'll be responsible for very little out of pocket. Now, exactly how much out of pocket will you be responsible for? That's what we'll talk about next. So we're going to break down the specifics of Plan G and Plan N and talk a little bit more about what these plans cover and what makes them different. So right here on the screen, you see the list of the different Medicare Supplement or Medigap insurance plans and what they cover. Now, most of these plans don't really make sense to purchase. Either they're not offered by many insurance companies or they're priced really high for what they actually do cover. So the vast majority of people will choose either a Plan G or a Plan N Medicare supplement plan this year. And if we look at the benefits, we can see that there are really only two things that are different about these two plans. The first is coverage for the Medicare Part B coinsurance. Now let's talk a little bit about how that works. So Medicare Part B is your medical insurance coverage. This is your doctor's office visits, diagnostic testing, and a whole slew of other medical services that are covered by Part B. Medicare Part B does have a deductible. It's $226 per year currently. It can change a little bit from year to year. And whether you have a Plan G or a Plan N, you are responsible to pay that deductible first before your coverage kicks in. Now, after you've met the deductible, traditional Medicare is going to pay 80% of your Part B services. And if you didn't have a Medicare supplement plan, you'd be responsible for the other 20%. Now, both Plan G and Plan N do cover that 20% coinsurance. Plan G covers it fully, 100%, and you don't have to pay any co-pays or coinsurance out of pocket. On Plan N, you do have full coverage for that coinsurance. However, you have to pay co-pays for certain services. And those are going to be co-pays of up to $20 for most doctor's office visits, or a copay of up to $50 for an emergency room visit, and that is waived if you do get admitted to the hospital. So the first thing that's different about Plan G versus Plan N is copays. Now, I have a video that I'm going to link up here and in the description below that goes into more depth about the copays on Plan N and exactly how they work and when you would see them. Now, there's only one other thing that makes Plan G and Plan N different, and that is coverage for the Medicare Part B excess charges. So you can see here that Plan G covers any Medicare Part B excess charges at 100%. And Plan N does not cover Part B excess charges. Now, excess charges are something that are pretty rare. Let's explain how they work. Now, most doctors that accept Medicare patients have agreed to be a Medicare participating provider. This means that the provider has agreed to accept the Medicare approved amount for any service. And the provider can never bill you above the Medicare approved amount for that service. Now, very rarely, a doctor could agree to see Medicare patients, but not be a Medicare participating provider. So in this instance, the doctor is allowed to bill you up to 15% above the Medicare approved amount for that service. Those are excess charges. Plan G always covers them at 100%, and Plan N does not cover them. Now, excess charges are very rare. The vast majority of doctors that take Medicare have agreed to be a Medicare participating provider. So it's unlikely that you'll ever see any excess charges. However, they are a potential downside to Medicare Supplement Plan N. That being said, there is a way to check online to see if your doctor's a Medicare participating provider. So you can kind of check ahead and see if your doctor could or won't bill any excess charges. And I'm going to show you how to do that. On the government Medicare website, you can go to Find Care Providers. And from here, you can look at different doctors and clinicians. I can type in my zip code. I can type in the name of my doctor. And here it will show me which doctors accept the Medicare approved payment amount. So any doctor that has this little money sign next to it is going to be a doctor that is a Medicare participating provider and would not bill any Medicare excess charges because they agree to charge the Medicare approved amount. So that's how excess charges work, and that's the other thing that makes Plan N and Plan G different, with Plan G covering Medicare excess charges and Plan N not covering them. So when we're looking at the pricing for Plan G versus Plan N has a few fewer benefits, so it is priced lower on monthly premium. And typically we see that savings to be anywhere from $20 to $50 a month or so when comparing the pricing for a Plan G versus a Plan N. Now, some people go to the doctor very frequently. They may have a lot of those office visit copays, so it makes more sense for them to purchase a Plan G, even though it's a higher monthly premium. Additionally, some people would rather just pay more every month and never have to worry about the potential for copays or excess charges. But something else to consider is that Plan G may see higher rate increases over time when compared to Plan N. Now, based on what we've seen, some insurance carriers are raising rates at about the same rate for Plan G and Plan N. However, there are other insurance companies that are raising rates on Plan G higher than they are on Plan N. And when you compound this over time, those savings could really add up. And I also want to mention something called guaranteed issue rights that you want to factor in when talking about rate increases on Plan G versus Plan N. Now, what exactly are guaranteed issue rights? So when you're age 65 and over, you have guaranteed issue rights that can last up to 63 days when you lose certain types of qualifying health coverage. When you have a guaranteed issue right, insurance companies must sell you certain Medigap policies without any medical underwriting, and you must be approved regardless of your health. When it comes to Medicare supplement insurance, everyone has an open enrollment period when they are new to Medicare Part B. You have a 6-month open enrollment window in which you can purchase any Medicare supplement plan you choose, and you will never be denied based on your health. They can't ask you any health questions. You're just automatically approved. But after that 6-month window closes, in most states and in most situations, you have to pass through medical underwriting to qualify for a Medicare supplement plan. This means that the insurance company can ask you a series of health questions on your application, and depending on what they see in your health history, they could just deny your application for coverage altogether. But there are these guaranteed issue rights, federal guaranteed issue rights established by Medicare that will allow people experiencing certain types of losses of coverage to be able to purchase a Medigap plan without any medical underwriting, even if they're no longer new to Medicare Part B. And as of 2020, Plan G is now one of these plans that people can purchase using a guaranteed issue right, but Plan N is not. So you can see here that this graph is from 2020, Plan G growing in popularity at a higher percentage than Plan N. And additionally, there are some agents and brokers who really only sell Plan G, some of them right here on YouTube. Plan G is kind of easier to explain, and you may get a higher commission for selling Plan G. So there are lots of agents and brokers who just push Plan G as the only plan that they offer. And you can also see here that federal guaranteed issue right customers have 50 to 100% higher medical claims than medically underwritten customers. And since more people age 65 and above are going to be going through medical underwriting to get Plan N, we can project that Plan N is going to see lower rate increases over time than Plan G or any other federal guaranteed issue rate plan. All this is to say that if you are comfortable with paying some copays and you feel that excess charges won't really be an issue for you, then it's definitely worth it to consider Plan N if you want to maximize your premium savings long term. Now, does this absolutely mean that Plan G is always going to receive huge rate increases in the future? No, not necessarily. For many people, Plan G will be the better option, especially for those who have frequent office visits, or if you're in an area where Plan G is priced very similar to Plan N, then Plan G may be the best option for you. The big thing you want to consider is which insurance company you are choosing for your Medicare Supplement plan. Now, you're going to get rate increases with any plan, with any insurance company due to things like inflation and rising healthcare costs and the fact that you're getting older. But when you're choosing an insurance company, you really want to consider their financial strength and stability and their past rate increase history. And that is where an independent insurance broker like us can really help. We work with many different insurance companies and we have lots of insider information about how these carriers are actually raising their rates in all different states nationwide. If you'd like a free, no obligation Medicare supplement quote or need assistance, please don't hesitate to call my office. My agents and I are licensed in almost every state, and our service is free of charge. We would, of course, be more than happy to help. So I hope this video helped you a little bit in comparing Plan G versus Plan N, how they are similar, how they are different, and getting information on Medicare supplement insurance before you buy your plan is really smart. You want to pick the right plan with the right insurance company so that you can maximize your coverage and your savings. If you ever need any help, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.